live on IG and YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me. Back for a second night in a row. We're trying to do 3 tonight. We're trying to do 3 in a row this week, and I hope you are here to join me on Talk Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live tonight. It's going to be a lively occasion, as it was yesterday. Yesterday was a bit rushed, I know. Not my usual thing, but we got it within an hour, so I don't know how rushed it can be. But again, we are here and we are live tonight on Talk Talk Live again, and thank you very much for joining me. Just came straight from work, just came straight from the gym. Hope you had a great day. I did as well. A few harangues here and there, but listen, I'm still 10 toes and pushing. So again, I am happy to be here with you. Thank you very much for joining me. The weekend's here, baby. I hope you have plans. I hope you have a place to go, people to see. And I hope you end the work week off with a bang. As we hope to end off here at Talk Talk Live. And we are back. We are live. We are trying to go as early and often as possible. So again, I thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. And we are back and we are ready to go. So thank you. Settle in and let's get into it. So this was brought up. Oh, well, anyways. Like and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. As stated. My TikTok views are starting to hit new levels, so I thank you very much for all my TikTok followers to boost my numbers up, which is great, fantastic. Again, I want to get my IG and my YouTube numbers up, so again, we are trying to do that as well. So I just hope that you can help me out with that and get me to 1,000 subscribers. So again, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you very much for your time. You could have been anywhere, but you're here with me. At whatever time of day you are. So I thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live. So let's get into it. Let's get into this. This was brought up by my friend, actually sponsored by Done Talk. And I haven't worn my Done Talk in a while, but I was a bit rushed this week. But tomorrow I will have Done Talk on if I have a show. DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So again, here we go. This was brought up by a friend of mine the other day who truly believes that once black men, hold on just a second, let me just get some water here quite quickly. I had something available to me right there. We good? Okay, fantastic. Yes, we are ready. We are there. We are live. So again, yes, this was brought up to me by one of my good friends. And she was saying that she was upset at the fact that black men who become successful, who are, as Kevin would say, R.I.P. Godfather, confident, intelligent, and assertive individuals who are taking life by the tail and literally swinging it about, and have really got their acts and their ish together. They tend to, quote unquote, leave the black community, and they leave their black women for other races in other places. So, and she was very, 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 strident about that idea. She was very, very focused on that idea. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? Let me see if I can test this theory. Let me see if I can call upon an expert who can help answer this question for me. Now, again, if I had to do this on my own, I'd have to go through many studies, go through many statistics, but one man, fortunately, has done the job for me, and I would ask you to please like and subscribe to the gentleman. His name is, let's get to it right here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, his name is indeed Medium Man. Medium Man is doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. He's up to 40,000 subscribers. Like and subscribe to this man because, again, if there is foolhardy rhetoric and foolhardy statistics that show the opposite, that go against that goes against the rhetoric that is out there, that goes against the white noise that you hear. Medium Man is about to check it out and find out about it. So again, the question was posed tonight: if indeed black men leave their community, they leave their women once they gain some sort of modicum of success. Hello, Chanel. How are you? Great to see you again. And again, we are going to follow on this video that was put out a couple of weeks ago that says, high-earning black men don't marry black women. That was the assertion that was put out to me just the other day. So we're going to test that theory right now. This is a short video. I have a few short videos. We're going to try and get this in an hour and a half. But we're here to dispel another rumor. Now remember, we had dispelled the rumor about black men being on the down low. We had dispelled the rumor that black men are always in jail. We had dispelled the rumor that black men are deadbeat dads. And so here's another one. Here's another one of those curses, those accusations black men receive on a daily basis, and that is, once they gain success, they leave black women and their community behind for pastures new. That is the theory. Now, I will tell my story and I'll tell my father's story later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. But let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy this journey right here. We're going to start out with this video. High-earning black men don't marry black women. Right up our street, right? Okay, let's get into it right here at Talk Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. On the road to 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We are back again here in perpetuity and in full force. Let's get to it.
Why are these educated, high-earning black men not marrying black women? So ThoughtCo, they debunk myths about black marriage, black income, education, so on and so forth, right? Let me show y'all something real quick. And this is for all the black women who swear that all these high-earning black men just don't marry black women. They're always in the news with these white women. Rich black
But hold on. Just another issue. I just feel men are not marrying, period. Well, there is that issue. Again, men, period, are not getting, they feel they're getting a fair deal, Chanel, in terms of marriage, because Lord knows the state doesn't want to have to pay for any sort of child support or alimony payment. So it's always usually on the man, due to jurisprudence, who's left with the bill. However, that's slowly changing, especially with new laws that are coming into play with regards to women being higher earners and they having to pay child support and they having to pay alimony to their husbands, which comes as a shock to a lot of ladies. They feel that, oh, I'm a lady, so I should be paid no matter what my man earns. But when it comes down to it, if a woman is the breadwinner in the family, things are changing to a point where ladies will have to pay child support. Take a look at Halle Berry. Take a look at Kelly Clarkson. Take a look at Adele. All three women, stars in their own right, very successful women of their own, on their own, having to pay child support, in Halle Berry's case, to two of her baby dads. Two. She had two kids with two baby dads, so she's paying child support to them. That's why you don't see them acting too often, because they don't need to. Now you ladies are getting it? Now you see in our frustration? I thought so. Anyways, but another dispelled rumor that we had here on Talk Talk Live through many a source is the fact that black men are not enrolled and do not graduate college, when the majority of college graduates are black men themselves. That was dispelled here on Talk Talk Live. And it's the black men who are enrolled in, well, degrees that lead to many in honor. See, black women are the most enrolled, but do they graduate? That's the question, which we dispel here on Talk Talk Live in the sense of in that black women become enrolled, but do they graduate? Well, usually there are distractions like pregnancies, like other careers, or their men that and the like, and they don't tend to graduate. Number one, number two, they don't tend to graduate from degrees that are higher earning. They tend to graduate from degrees that are not. So again, that's where we stand right now. So let us move forward into the conversation here. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Talk Live. Let's move forward with this with Media Man. Let's go.
And marry out. Black men drop black women as soon as they reach a certain level of success, don't they?
When he get on, he gonna leave your ass for a white girl. What, you want, a Barbie?
Now when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl.
While plenty of rap stars, athletes, and musicians may choose to date or marry interracially when they achieve fame, the same is not true for the bulk of successful black men.
Stop it there. Did you catch that? I've been saying here on Talk Talk Live that black men tend to be very, very race loyal. But contrary to popular opinion, everybody thinks that once a man gets successful, he leaves the race. Well, we're going to break those numbers down shortly. But again, as stated here, on this sentence, while plenty of rap stars, athletes, and musicians may choose to date or marry interracially, because again, most of these women are attracted to these men, and again, sometimes, they, the race loyalty thrown out the window in those circumstances when they achieve fame. The same is not true for the bulk of successful black men, the rank and file, those who get it, who are successful through their own endeavors, through their own means, through their own education. They tend to be race loyal. But let's continue. It says right here.
By analyzing census data, Tolson and Marks found that 83% of married black men who earned at least $100,000 annually got hitched to black women. 83%, guys. The same as...
Let's go back and see it again.
83%, guys. The same as...
No. I don't think you caught that.
Hitched to black women.
I don't think you caught that.
At least $100,000 annually got hitched to black women.
83%. 83% of men, black men who earn $100,000 or more, marry black women. That's usually not told in the headlines. They say that once a man has earned a certain amount, he leaves. They see it of a certain amount of stars. Once they earn a certain amount, they go too. But that is not the case. That is clearly not the case. Especially with the rank and file, especially with the common man, especially with he's not so common. He's of the top 15% of men, and they choose black women overwhelmingly when it comes to finding a life partner. Let's go. Let's continue. Because, listen, we're breaking down stereotypes. We broke down the one on jail. We broke down the one about men being gay. We broke down the education system. We broke down the one about fathers. Here's another one. Thanks to my man, Medium Man. We're breaking that down too. And it has to be disseminated for the world. Black men tend to be very race loyal when it comes to dating and marriage.
83%, guys. The same is the case for educated black men of all incomes. 85% of black male college graduates marry black women. Generally, 88% of married black men, no matter their income or educational black background, have black wives.
Stop that right there. Let's reinforce the point. 88% of black men, no matter what their income, no matter what their social strata, no matter what their educational background, tend to marry black women. Well, listen, let's preface this by saying that tends to be across the board. Most men, no matter what race, tend to date race loyal. They tend to do that. So the same is true for black men, especially successful black men, especially for black men of all social stratas, all incomes, all educational backgrounds. What is shocking is the fact that when you see interracial dating and marriage, a lot of people tend to see black men and white women because it's so jarring, shocking. It tends to get tongues wagging. When this tends to be the exception and not the norm. Just letting you know. It's the exception, not the norm, especially when 88% of those black men tend to be race loyal. Again, I'll reveal my own experience in a bit. Let's go.
That number has changed from 88% to 85% because black women are being more vocal with how much they don't like black men, and black men have adapted and adjusted. So that 3% have went to marrying other races of women. So black women, you better pay attention. 88% of married black men, no matter their income or educational black background, have black wives. This means that interracial marriage should not alone be held responsible for the singleness of black women.
Did you hear that? Did you all get that? I'll repeat it for you. This means that interracial marriage should not alone be held responsible for the singleness of black women. It's a by choice. Black women are single by choice. Not because of us. We really want to marry you, but by choice, you don't choose to marry us. By choice, your birth rate is at about 60% and black men's about 48%. Where is the disparity in that 12 odd percent? It's going outside of the race. That's why. So it's sort of like the gay issue. Black women swear that black men are on the down low, when in fact, black women make up the majority of the LGBTQ community. Black women swear they're the most enrolled and the most graduated, when in fact, it's black men who make up the most of those who graduate from colleges and universities. Black women swear that black men are deadbeat dads, when in fact, black men tend to make the best dads of any race. So we're dispelling things here. And they swear that we're all in jail, when actually 96% of black men are free tax-paying citizens. 96%. You see how we're dispelling all these sort of, how should I say, these sort of stereotypes, these sort of crosses that black men must bear for the last 40 to 50 years. The color purpleization of black men. Oh, and that's in theaters now, isn't it? I wonder how it's doing. The fact of the matter is, black men aren't falling for the okie doke anymore, and you just don't want to admit it. Now again, as he said, 85% of black men are married in their race. That fell from 88%. Why? Why? So if you measure black women's birth rate, according to black men, and if you take into account that black women have said en masse that they don't really like black men, there's sort of a rivalry with them. And if other races are taking them in, and we said that here on Talk Live, those numbers are going to continue to fall. Don't think that black men are going to be left out there in the cold saying that you're not good enough. Chances are another race will take us. Unfortunately. And it's been proven time and time and time again. But we're very, very race loyal still to this day. We're here for you, black women, but are you here for us? That's the question. Let's continue.
Put that in there. Let me look at this. Let me read that one more time. This means that interracial marriage should not alone be held responsible for the singleness of black women. So, after y'all heard me read this, where do you think the problem lies? Is it black men? No, can't be. Is it black children? Nah. White men? White women? Hispanic women? Hispanic men? Asian men? No. Black women. What do y'all need to do? What do y'all need to change? So we got to stop this moving into this new year and start focusing our attention on who needs the most help. And right now, if we're talking about marriage, it is black women. And this is another one from
No. I want to go back there just 1 second.
And this is another one from Thought.
I want y'all to read this. If you're on, hold on, because that just came out of nowhere. Okay, we got it. And I've been saying this for time immemorial on Talk Live. Black women are the least likely to be married according to Pew Research. Black women are the least married women on the planet, especially those from the Western world. The least married women on planet Earth are westernized, North American, Western European black women. And you wonder why. Because a lot of these stereotypical ideals, in terms of them being aggressive, abrasive, masculine, they tend to ring true. And unfortunately, modern media doesn't help matters either. It doesn't. They just don't. Then you have the likes of, Saweetie, of that Red Girl, and the likes of Nicki Minaj and rappers, and the like all around. They tend to sexualize themselves. That's what you're known for. If you're sexualizing yourself, that's all they want you for is sex, unfortunately. And it's up to black women to change that narrative. But they're not doing so right now. So that's why that statement, which I've been reading on for months, still rings true. Black women are the least selected women on dating apps. Hate to be a broken record, but I've been telling you this for as long as this forum has been open to the public. And I've always said, if black women want to stop being the least married, they need to get married. They need to start taking their own black men as husbands. Because no one else is coming for you. Because most people are race loyal. You get the odds and ends, but it's only the best of the best who go outside of the race. And sometimes you get those whose water levels meet as well, but you get the picture. I've always said black men are your only hope, and if you want to throw that away, other women won't. But I'm not here to browbeat. I'm just here to prove a point. The point is tonight that when it comes down to it, black men are very race loyal to their women. Very, very race loyal. Let's continue.
It's black women. And this is another one from Thought Code. This is for black women who don't believe the statistics. Black men don't earn as much as black women. Just because black women are more likely to graduate from college than their male counterparts, it doesn't mean that they out-earn black men. Actually, black men are more likely than black women to bring home at least $75,000 annually. Also, double the number of black men than women make at least $250,000 annually. Because of pervasive gender gaps in income, black men remain the breadwinners in the black community.
Yeah. I mean, you hear all about these black queens and these boss chicks saying that they're killing it and they're leaving us in the dust. The Rebecca Lynn Popes and the like, thinking that they hold the upper hand and the hegemony in terms of most black families, when in fact black men still run families. They still out-earn black men to this day. To this day. It's just our story isn't told doesn't mean that it's not true. Just because you think you're seeing Oprah doesn't mean that everybody's Oprah. Again, name me some black female entrepreneurs who have made it big outside of Oprah. I can name you at least 5 to 10 black men who have made it big, despite the fact that they're considered the downtrodden of the race. They can see the embarrassment of the race, when in fact that's not true. We're still holding up our own race. And, as stated here, we're still the breadwinners in most families. Especially as the salaries go higher. So we don't leave our black women behind, despite what has been said. We don't leave our communities behind, despite what has been said. Kamala Harris is, well, again, she's a divester herself. She's married a white guy. But, again, what are we to say about that? What are we to say about that? Remember the birth rate. I told you. Well, let's continue.
So all this talk about these high-earning black women can't find a good black man, there you have it right there. Now, I've discussed this before. 13% of black men make $75,000 or more, 9% of black women. We've shared these numbers before. I just wanted to reiterate this since we're on this topic right here. So the problem is not that these black men aren't out there. If you are one of these women that are on social media complaining about trying to find a good black man, look in the mirror and ask yourself why you can't find a good black man, because it seems to be working for a lot of other black women. Just not you. Wonder why that is. Figure that out before you try and place the blame on black men.
Thank you, Medium Man, but that's part one. And he's left it in, and he's true. He's left it in the ladies' court. What are black women doing to leave themselves out of the dating pool and out of the marriage stream? It's their attitudes. Change your attitude, change your latitude. Change your outcomes. And black men have been telling you that for years, but you don't want to listen to us. And we're still here for you, and we still marry you to an overabundance. But guess what? Who else is watching? Guess who else is watching? Other races are watching. Black men are still married at a 33% clip. Black women, 24%. Why? Media hasn't helped you out. Your attitudes haven't helped you out. Your masculinity hasn't helped you out. This boss chick ideal has definitely not helped you out. But we're still here for you. Still here for you. We're going to move on to part two here. And another video from Medium Man. Medium Man is just killing these YouTube streets. Like, subscribe, subscribe to Medium Man. He's just breaking it down. And this one, he has a bone to pick with the inimitable Dr. Umar Johnson. If you don't know who Dr. Umar Johnson, he's a black diaspora advocate. He's very much about black marriage. He's very much about black love. He's very much about calling out Negroes who do not hold up their end of the bargain when it comes to being down for not only themselves but their community. But again, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. And there are many thrones that can be thrown. There are many glasses that can be broken in the house of Dr. Umar Johnson. Let's deal with this right now. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Still dispelling rumors, people. Doing it all for you. Sponsored by Dun Talk. Let's go.
This is something that I've heard him say on multiple live streams, and I always wondered why nobody ever challenged him when he says what he says. I'm being very vague on this because I want you guys to hear it for yourselves. Let's listen to Dr. Umar talk about black men and interracial dating. Here we go. Interracially date, we feel that we're inferior to white men, so we gotta date white women to get some get back, so to speak. When did Dr. Umar get? All right, let's continue.
It is
Sorry, I may have paused that.
Hatred to the 20th power. I'm not against white women. but I support black women. And in my support of black women, I cannot condone interracial dating. But let's look at the economics. Take the romance out, take the emotion out. Let's look at the economics. Marriage is a business contract. Women on average live longer than men. So if I marry a white woman and I die prematurely, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I die prematurely, rest in peace, marvelous Marvin Hagler. That white woman is not going to take any of the wealth that I built as a black man and give it to the black community so we can help regenerate ourselves. She's going to keep that money for herself, and all that black money will go back into the hands of white society. Interracial marriage is economic betrayal.
This is only an issue when black men are doing it. And it's funny that every time this conversation comes up, now all of a sudden the black community wants to get very righteous and tell these black men what they need to do with their money without focusing on the society, the black community as a whole, which is where his focus should be. Because I donated to the FDMG Academy. He just did a live stream where he said that he's just waiting on painting. And he also quoted that instead of the school was supposed to be open in February 2023. However, when I checked the most recent reports, he pushed that back to September 2024.
Earlier to say that you'd be making an announcement today?
I would say that here's the announcement for the school right now to give an update. We still have the two inspections, the fire department and the license and inspection. Now, for the license and inspection, Bob and David, they want the school to be move-in ready. So what that means is we got to get our doors repaired, and we also got to lay down the carpet and tile in the classrooms where we took up the old dirty rugs. So basically, we have to make the school, what's the word I'm looking for? Phonetically appealing, physically appealing, so they can come and do their inspection because they want it to be move-in ready.
That's
and
right.
we also have to put the drop ceiling tiles back up. You know, it's a lot of loose things, you know, nothing major, but it's going to take some time because I got to find the right person to do the carpet and the tile. I should be choosing the colors for the paint real soon. So we'll be doing the paint day in the next couple of weeks. So that won't be a big deal. Right now, it's about the rugs and the carpet, you know, so it's just a lot of little things, but it's not much. The grand opening for the community is still going to be next year. We might just do it on Festival Day, Bob and David. I'm thinking about just doing the festival and the grand opening all in the same weekend.
That would be in September?
Yes, sir.
And this is the same narrative.
Let's stop that. Dr. Umar Johnson has been professing the opening up of his school for the last, I would say, decade. If you're not familiar with Dr. Umar Johnson, you're not familiar with his hold within the black community, he has tasked himself to build a school, Afrocentric school in the heart of New York City. That has been going on for the last, I would say, he's been planning this for the last, I would say, at least 10, 15 years. And he has pushed back dates of opening from 2020, 2021, 2, 3, 4, 5, hell, going back to the teens. But hold on, let me just get this comment here. I don't believe that I would take my ex's money for myself and I would set up for the kids. Well, again, a lot that's the mixed conception that a lot of women have to deal with, is the fact that they would. But we're going to answer that in a bit. I'm going to leave that there. We're going to answer in a bit in terms of the Kobe Bryant issue, because again, that's what Umar Johnson brought to our attention, is the fact that Kobe Bryant, who married a Latina lady, was it Talia? I think it's Talia. Yes, Ms. Bryant, and she was, and he was very much afraid that the money that he had built over his years would be taken out of the community by Ms. Bryant. Let's. I want to get a proper name. I'm sorry. I totally miss Kobe Bryant. I think it's Bryant's wife, and that's Vanessa. There you go. It's Vanessa Bryant. I do apologize, Vanessa. Yes, they were very much afraid that Vanessa Bryant would take her money, take Kobe's money, and move it out of the black community, out of the hands of the black economic diaspora, because she's Latina. So they think so that would go into. So Umar Johnson was afraid that it would go into Latina hands and not black hands, but. We have something about that, and I will speak to your point there, Chanel, in a bit. Let's move on. Let's continue. But the fact of the matter is that Umar Johnson has been calling out black men for their indecencies, especially when it comes to divesting their money and their romantic aces outside of the black community. However, again, he's living in a glass house. Very much so. But again, we're supposed to look away from the glass house, because that glass house is still being built. Still very much being built. Still fixtures, there's still inspections to do. There's still, tables to cover. If you saw it here on Talk Live, there's still there's still, red tape. Bureaucratic red tape to get through. But don't look here. Look out there. Look out there. I need you to look out there. I need all y'all black women to look out there and look at your black men and ridicule them for having chosen women who will take your money, take their hard-earned money outside the black community. Look there. Don't look here. Look there. Okay.
Narrative that we've been hearing Dr. Umar talk about for the past 10, almost 15
My
years.
school, because after we open up Fred Douglass, Marcus Garvey, Envy, it's going to be the Anna Douglas and Amy Garvey. We can't leave out the girls. A lot of women come at me, especially the feminists. They say, why are you not talking about the girls? Well, guess what? If I save your son...
Okay, just to preface this, if you're still with me on Instagram, that is Dr. Umar Johnson talking about his school in 2015. Nearly 9 years ago, he's talking about a school back then on the Breakfast Club and his plans to open the school and wings of the school in dedication to Marcus Garvey and wife, because he can't leave out the wife. Are you catching on? Okay, let's go.
I'm saving the girls because here's going to be a strong black man who could be a husband to somebody's daughter. But we're not going to leave out the girls. We're going to open up the Anna Douglas Amy Garvey Academy.
Now, what about the school that I know last time you came here, you were
Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy.
let's talk about
Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. That's the full name of the academy. He's here in December 2019, pre-pandemic. 4 years after his appearance on The Breakfast Club, still talking about this school to his vast number of followers on The Breakfast Club. He's back. He's still talking about that school, and they're reminding him of it. And here's his next spiel about the school. Remember, don't look here. Look out there. Look at your black men out there who are doing wrong. Look out there. Look there. Those who are leaving their community, those who are leaving their women, look out there. Don't look here.
let's talk about the academy.
FDMG. Well, through the
Look out
grace
there.
of God,
Don't
earlier
look
this
out
year, February the 7th,
Don't look here.
7
Look out
days
there.
before Frederick Douglass's birthday, we purchased not one school, but two. Wilmington, Delaware, we have a campus 4 buildings strong. It used to be a charter school. They lost their charter. Luckily, we was able to purchase it. So now we're raising money.
Congratulations.
Thank you. To restore the school. And what I like most about it, it's in a predominantly black community. What I also like about it is we have all the square footage that we need. We have 2 buildings. The Frederick Douglass building, that's the high school. Modern gym, modern schools. These are not old schools. These are modern. Marcus Garvey building is right across the street. They face each other. So because we have 2 school buildings instead of 1, there's a very strong chance that we may start educating our girls in the Anna Douglas Amy Garvey Academy at the same time that we educate our boys, because we have the 2 schools. But even if we don't start the girls at the same time, we start the
Hold on,
boys.
just to let you know, here's a little factoid you may not know about Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, later in his years, was married to a white woman. Look it up. Yet, he names a school after Frederick Douglass after he very much dislikes any black men from dating and marrying white women. But one of his schools is named after a man who engaged in interracial marriage, even in the 1800s, even in the 19th century. Make that make sense.
We will be evolving to the Girls Academy as well. That was always a part of my plan. I just didn't think we would be so blessed as to end up with two different schools.
And first things first, man, congrats on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. I've been paying attention. I
Yes,
see
sir.
that you
Yes,
got
sir.
the building.
Yes, sir.
You've been doing renovations on the building. I
Yes,
saw you put
sir.
the age.
It is 2022. The man is still doing renovations on the Marcus Garvey Frederick Douglass buildings. 3 years later, okay, pandemic, I get it. I get it. But how long has he been talking about this school for? 7 years. Remember, he was on The Breakfast Club in 2015 talking about the school. 7 years later, it ain't built yet. 7 years later, they're still going through inspections. 7 years later, they still got to put a lick of paint on it. 7 years later, they still got to go through inspections. 7 years later, we wait. But yet, we can't wait for black men to marry outside the race because we must punish them. Even though the 88% of black men still marry black women. Still, don't look here, look there.
Vac in all
Yes,
kind of other
sir.
stuff.
We're just about done. Electric is awaiting a permit. HVAC is awaiting controls. They're actually at the school right now. Plumbing is just about done. They got one more piece. Fire alarm is done. They got to check one more piece to that. The monitoring system is done. I'm hoping by the end of the calendar year, we can get our inspection and have a grand opening in February.
Remember, he said the same spiel and blurb in 2023, late 2023. That was the first part. It's 2022. Do you notice anything familiar? Okay. Don't look behind me. Look out there. That's where the black men are. Who are leaving our community with white women. Look out there. Look out there. Don't look behind me, though.
Hopefully.
And you waiting on, you got to get accreditation too, or?
Nah, well, your accreditation comes from the state.
Got you.
So it's the state that gives you the license to operate.
Mm-hmm.
If you want accreditation beyond that, you can seek out professional accreditation bureaus, but that's not legally required.
Because the first time that I heard about the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy was in 2014.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I am a school...
Did you hear that? The first time you heard about this Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy was the FDMG Academy and Wives, FDMG and Wives Academy. It was 2014. It is now near 10 years of chat about this school, and not one single door has opened. Just saying.
Psychologist and doctor of clinical psychology. In addition to that, I hold degrees in political science and education. I am here at the historic St. Paul's College. This beautiful campus, 135 acres of which I hope to make the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG.
Remember, Chanel, I'm so glad you brought that to my attention. It's just talk. Yeah. After a 10-year span, sometimes that's all it is. That really is all it is. But remember, Frederick Douglass was as bad as the black men whom he accuses is leaving the community with white paramours.
135 acres of which I hope to make the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy
for African children.
And I think that's when it was created, because he came on the Breakfast Club and he discussed it, which made me donate, because I liked what he was saying. I was like, yeah, it seems like a good idea. I did the same thing with Jalen Rose, the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. I think these are great things that, black men are doing. However, when you start focusing on the economic struggles of the black community, why is it always pointed at the top 1%? Because these things can be dealt with through a lot of education throughout the black community on how to manage our money. And you can learn all these things in the Economic State Report, which I provided to you guys multiple times. And of course, I have the stats to back these things up, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about why the black community always focuses on black men and what black men need to do with their money, when the problem is much broader than just the men that have money. And we are going to talk about those men here in a second. But first, let me address this false narrative that he's been going on everybody's podcast saying that black men marry out the most out of all racial demographics. Y'all see what that says? And this is all from Pew Research and also from the Census Bureau. Today, the most common interracial pairing is one Hispanic spouse and one white spouse. This combination makes up 42% of interracial marriages today. Now,
Stop that there! I told you I'd get you there, didn't I? I told you that we'll find the true source of interracial dating. And it is Hispanic white spouses. That is number one in the United States / the Western world. Now, this may change from place to place again. If you go to England, then you'll definitely find more. You don't find many Hispanics there, so you'll definitely find more black-white ratios. But for the most part, in North America, that is indeed the case. 42% of interracial marriages today are made of one Hispanic spouse, one white spouse. Not one black spouse, one white spouse. Because again, we only marry outside our race to a 15% clip. 15%, 15% clip. And again, how black women have a higher birth rate, and black men only have a 48% birth rate, when black women have a 61% birth rate. They having babies with somebody, and it ain't us. Okay.
let's continue. I'm not done. We got to drive home this point. Interracial and interethnic combination. These are the most common. White and Hispanic couples, non-white mixed couples. Then you have white Asian and Asian couples. And at the very bottom, you have white and black couples at 11.9%.
Let's take that in. So if black men it's non-white mixed couples. So we tend to be those non-white mixed couples groups. So we tend to, sometimes we tend to date Hispanic, sometimes we tend to date, Asian, sometimes we tend to date others. But we're a very small percentage. If we're gonna go, it's usually a white and black couples. So that's 11.7%. That's what we tend to be. But look at the chart here on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. 43% are white and Hispanic couples. They hold the lump sum in terms of interracial dating. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And then you have the non-mixed white couples at 30%. Then you have 14% of white and Asian couples. Yes, Asian women, they ain't playing. They will get out. They will marry a white man in a heartbeat. And then last is white-black couple. So if you think about it, I'd say about 11.9% are black and white couples. And then the rest are, as has been seen here on Talk Live, we usually go through the non-white mixed couples movement. So they tend to be Hispanic, or they tend to be Asian, or they tend to be this and that. But that's usually at a 3% clip. Mostly we date and marry white chicks if we're going outside our race. But a distinct minority. So all these ideas that black men are leaving their ass for a white girl is not proven by the stats. At least the 2015, 2017 stats.
What percentage of Hispanics marry someone of a different race? Hispanics come in second as the most likely to marry outside of their ethnicity. 27% of Hispanics today are married to someone outside of their race. I put that one first for a reason. Who's the most? Do you think it's black people?
Nope.
In contrast, among white and Hispanic newlyweds, the shares of who intermarry are similar for men and women. Some 12% of recently married white men and 10% of white women have a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. And among Hispanics, 26% of newly married men and 28% of women do. Y'all haven't heard them mention black people yet, right? Have you heard them say anything about black people being the highest, particularly black men? No.
So there you go. If you're looking for any interracial dating, don't look to us. We're one of the least interracially dating groups, especially black men. The least interracially married groups. You know who it is? Again, Hispanics. That's your source. That's the smoking gun, especially in this side of the world. I don't know about Europe. Europe's that's a whole other game. That's a whole other ball game. But in terms of North America, in terms of this side of the world, Hispanics are the ones who usually date outside of their race the most. Black men are way down the list, as we'll find out now.
At the same time, intermarriage has ticked down among recently married Asians and remained more or less stable among Hispanic newlyweds. Even though intermarriage has not been increasing for these two groups, they remain far more likely than black or white newlyweds to marry someone of a different race or ethnicity. About 3 in 10 Asian newlyweds, 29%, have a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. The same is true of 27% of Hispanics.
So all these lies about black men running in droves to date and marry outside of their race needs to stop. Another lie laid out there in public that needs to be dispelled. Black men tend to be the most race loyal men out there. 85%. Now, again, I ain't saying we won't dabble in there, but when it comes to marriage, yeah, we tend to stay very race loyal. No, it's the Asian newlywed. Let me tell you something about these Asian, especially these Asian ladies. Let me tell you something. They ain't playing. 3 in 10 Asian newlyweds have someone of a different race. They are not, especially these Asian ladies, they are not playing. They do not play. I would say that, as stated, that's number one. I would say interracial couple usually are Asian women and white men. Number one. Followed closely by Hispanic, interracially dated, and married couples. Black men aren't even in their stratosphere when it comes to these certain things. Not even close. So again, these lies about black men taking themselves outside of their race for the most part need to stop. Stop immediately. We have been petitioned. Believe me, we've been petitioned. There are those who are in the audience who are in earshot of my voice who have tried very much so to get to date and marry black men, but black men usually aren't taking the bait. Sorry, ladies. Sorry to say, but it's true. Very much true. Let's continue.
No black folks in there, right? So this is where they get this narrative from, and I don't know how they read this chart wrong, but it specifically says a rising share of newlyweds are Hispanic or Asian, while white newlyweds are on the decline. But if you see the differences from 1980 to 2015, 81% is 1980 and 66% is 2015 for whites. You see that large? Look at this. What do y'all see here? And then all the way down here, you have black folks at 9 and 9%. It hasn't changed from 1980 to 2015. They're just talking about newlyweds in those particular years. And then you have Hispanics. It increased from 8% to 17% in 1980 to 2015. And then you have Asians 2% to 6%. Their increase. So I honestly don't know where Dr. Umar gets his statistics, but he's absolutely wrong. And there's another one.
So let's stop right there. So if you're looking for interracial marriages, look to white guys. That is where your white women should be pissed. Because white guys, they be out there. 66%. Let's run that back. Because I want to get this straight. 66% of all newlyweds in the U.S. By race and ethnicity. 66% of interracial dated white people are interracially married. If you want to look for a group that loves interracial dating and marriage, it's whites. They love it. They can't get enough of it. They need some interlopement like a mofo. Hispanics second, blacks in a distinct third. Very much a distinct third, than Asians last. But you'll never hear white men or women being vilified for their choice of marriage. Oh yeah, they hate each other. I don't know. If there's anybody who really hate each other, it's white people. They're the ones white women have a bone to pick. White men have a bone to pick among themselves. It's not black men. It's just not. It's just not. Look, the statistics prove it. 9% of we were at 9% in 1980, 9% in 2015, 9% of all newlyweds in the U.S. marry interracially. 9%. We're not even hitting double digits yet. Hispanics hitting double digits. Asians and blacks, no. No. We tend to be very, very race loyal. Your bone, your ire needs to be directed at white people, not us, not black men. Despite what you see in public, they're a distinct minority. So black women, take a chill pill. We're still here for you. It's shown by the statistics. We're still here for you. Let's continue.
2015, and they're talking about newlyweds in those particular years. And then you have Hispanics. It increased from 8% to 17% in 1980 to 2015. And then you have Asians 2% to 6%. Their increase. So I honestly don't know where Dr. Umar gets his statistics, but he's absolutely wrong. And there's another one. This is the one that people always misquote, misread. If you look at the bottom, right here it says Pew Research Center analysis of 2014 to 2015. This 24% and 12% of black men and women marrying out does not represent the overall numbers. What it is black men is saying black men are twice as likely as black women to intermarry for that particular year time span, 2014 to 2015. But even if you look at this chart, who's actually outpacing black men? You have Hispanic men, you have Hispanic women, and you also have Asian women that outpace black men when it comes to intermarriage. So where do these people, particularly Dr. Umar, get these talking points that black men are just dating out or marrying out at a higher percentage? 2014.
Stop that right there. We're going to come back to more of these statistics in a bit. Stay with us. We're going into the second hour of Talk Talk Live. We haven't been there in a little while, but stay tuned. We'll be right back on IG. Thank you very much for joining. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Sorry about that, YouTube. We're just bringing IG back into the picture. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We're into the second hour here on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And thank you very much for all the TikTok new screenings that we've been. They tended to jump leaps and bounds over the last after the last week or so. So I thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're here dispelling the fact that black men are married interracially and are taking their money outside of the community. And we, again, ask you to look no further than white people. They're the ones who usually are the ones who go outside the race, because black men, we tend to be very race loyal. We tend to marry our black women at an 85% clip. Again, we tend to be very, just doing a recap for anybody who's just joining us. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We're just doing a quick recap. We're just going to go through a few slides here. And that being, hold on just a second. Here we go. Here we are. Again, interracial, interethnic combinations. The most tend to be with white and Hispanic couples. Go figure. Black and white couples. Then there's non-white mixed groups, which black people can be a part of. Only that's 30%. Then white Asian couples, and then and only then do you get black-white couples at 11.4%. So most interracial couples, especially on this side of the world, I'm not talking about Europe. Europe's a whole other ball game, a whole other bag, and believe me. Okay. If you, I've been to Europe. I lived in Europe for many a year, and I'll say this to black women. All right, you may have a bone to pick there. But in North America, black men tend to be very, very race loyal. And as you can see, in terms of inter-ethnic and interracial couples, black and white couples are the lowest found. There's 11.9%. So of the 85% of black men who are getting married, they marry their own race. Of the 50% who are interracially married, most tend to be black and white, 11.9%, and the rest tend to be non-white mixed couples. So that's like 2 or 3%. That's it. We're very race loyal. I'm just saying. We are. But they won't believe me. We're trying to dispel these rumors here. We really are. Again, if you're looking for anyone who's interracially dating and getting married, it's white men. It's white people, period. But you won't hear them chat about that. You won't hear a peep out of them. But 66% of white people, of all newlyweds in the U.S. By race and ethnicity, and you can extrapolate that towards the rest of North America, 66% who interracially marry tend to be white people. Yeah. Black, Hispanics are next at 17%. Blacks, we don't even hit double digits. We're 9% of all newlyweds in the U.S. and that's of 2015. That's the last poll that was done on this survey. And then you have Asians afterwards. So, what to say? What to do? We're very race loyal. But let's get back to modern day, because a lot of people won't believe me. They will not believe me. So let's go there. Again, as says here, 3 in 10 Asian people are married outside of the race. Hispanics next, black are 18%. 18%. And then whites at 11%. So, although the numbers are skewed, the numbers, tend to be skewed. But again, white people they, in terms of newlyweds that are intermarried, whites are 11%, blacks 18%, Hispanics 27%, Asians 29%. 3 out of 10. If there's anybody who has a bone to pick with their women or their men, it's Asian people. Absolutely. But they don't go around talking about it, do they? They don't say anything. Just saying. Let's go.
Particular black men are leading. So I honestly don't know where Dr. Umar is getting his information from. So hopefully that clears up for the black community that tries to virtue signal to black women to make it seem like y'all just losing so many black men. No, it is a small minority of black men. Well, I won't even say small because it's 15%. 15% of married black men are married to non-black women.
Right.
And 8% of married black men are married to white women. That's the one that y'all seem to be so focused on, particularly Dr. Umar. So why do we always overlook the 85% of black men, married black men who marry black women? I don't understand. I don't know why the black community likes to hold on to these types of things. It makes no sense. And also to bring up Kobe Bryant and his wife Vanessa is absolutely nuts. And I've heard him talk about Kobe Bryant and what his wife is doing with the money multiple times. But for his own education, let me show you guys what Kobe Bryant's wife is actually doing with the money. She just earned a settlement from when she sued LA County for showing those pictures of Kobe Bryant's passing. She won, I believe, $16 million, right? Do you know where she put that money? She put it into the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation. And that directly affects black kids. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the mission, the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating positive impact for underserved athletes and boys and girls in sports, founded through the vision and loving memory of Kobe and Gianna Gigi Bryant.
There it is. So for all those who think that Vanessa Bryant is taking Kobe's money, any settlement, outside of the black diaspora, you're wrong. She's actually putting it back in through the Mamba and Mambacita Memorial Fund. Sports Foundation. Sorry. So there's one interracial marriage that, well, seems to be working. She's part of that group that is non-white mixed race group. She's one of those 27% of Hispanics who married outside their race. Yeah. If you got any bone to pick, go to the Asians, go to Hispanics. Even go to whites before you come to us. Because we're being painted with a brush that is indecently put in our hands. There it is. Another rumor dispelled. Another slight and prejudicial statement put out to pasture. We're not down low. Tend not to be in jail. Tend to be more educated. Tend to earn more for the family. And tend not to date outside our race. True.
And then underserved athletes. The foundation provides funding and sports programming for underserved athletes to enable participation in school and or league sports that enrich social, emotional, and physical development. So basically what they do is they provide inner city children, which black kids fall into that, into that group, with tuition to get on these certain teams, like sports teams. They pay for, like they'll take care of the funding for the particular teams that they're on, like for the uniforms, for the shoes, things of that nature. Because I know when I was a kid, when I was trying to play Pop Warner football, my mom had a hard time paying for it. So we had to pool our funds together through my family to make sure that me and my brother were able to play Pop Warner football. The Mamba and Mambacita program takes care of those kids who were like me that didn't have the funds growing up. Does that make sense? Does that help the black community? Dr. Umar, right? Y'all let me know. And I shouldn't even have to validate these things, but it's necessary. I'm starting to notice that sometimes the black community doesn't read, and I hate saying that out loud. I honestly do. I hate publicly saying that. I hate the fact that Dr. Umar, he is a very educated man, and he knows a lot of people aren't ready to respond to the stuff that he says. In particular, when it comes to black men and interracial marriage and what we're doing with our income and our funds, and these rappers and athletes, what they're doing with their income, what they're doing with their money. They're not prepared to answer or push back and say, hey, is that actually true? Where did you get that from? You cannot go on these platforms and just spew this type of stuff and not expect somebody who is going to be the asshole, me, to go back and look at the statistics. And I've been covering.
Truth. It's an old saying. It's racist, very, very racist, but to a certain extent, it may ring true. You want to hide something from the black community? Put it in a book. You know why? Because black people won't read it. If you want to hide a secret from the black community, put it in a book. Sad but true. And here again, all these statistics are being spewed out there, but guess what? Prevailing rumors will still apply until we, as black men and black people in general, reiterate these statistics over and over and over again until these prejudices are finally left to the annals of history. Because things got to change. Because I know they'll still say that black men will still leave with white girls, and black men are still on the down low, and black men are always in jail, and black men are deadbeat dads, and black men don't graduate from college, when they're all lies. They're all lies. They're all lies. That is why I have Talk Live here, not only to entertain, but also to dispel rumors about my kind. Speaking of my kind, let me just tell you my story just quickly, because I did say that I was going to allude to it. I myself have only dated black women in my lifetime. I've never dated a white woman myself. My father has only married or been with black women in his lifetime. Despite the fact that he is a high-earning individual. Never wanted a white woman. Never did. Never crossed his mind to do it. Neither did for me. Never crossed my mind. Never crossed my path. I love black women too much. I always said I love my mother. I love my sister. I love black women too much. I just can't do it. I can't do it. And that is the majority of black men out there. They can't do it. Whether you believe us or not, black women, that's the truth. Black men tend to be race loyal about dating women. Despite what you hear above, these stereotypes, these echo chambers, they don't see the statistics that I bring to you today. As I said, you don't want black people to learn about a certain fact, put it in a book. Put it in a study. Put it in a statistic. They don't want to go out and find that for themselves. We're here for you, black women, but are you here for us? Remember the whole birth rate disparity? Remember that?
Covering this for a while now. It's embarrassing. So if I have any advice to any content creators out there, when y'all hear something fishy that's being said, even if it's about black women, about black men, black children, ask for references, sources, sites, not just hearsay. Because in the comment section, y'all seen Dr. Umar going viral for a while now because he was on Joe Budden's podcast. He said the same thing on there. Nobody said a word. Him and Ish was going back and forth about Ish having a white girlfriend.
Something just hit me. True. Are you mixed race?
No.
Or you're a bunny hopper?
Yes.
That's why you have a liberal perspective.
That's not true. That's not
because you go home
that's
to a
not
white
true.
woman.
Yes, but that's not true. I felt this way before I met my white girlfriend.
So help me understand how you could be so passionate about the black.
I'm passionate. I'm an objective thinker. I don't. If something makes sense.
So you have no loyalty to the black community.
No, I do have. I probably employ more blacks than you.
Okay, so help me understand that you employ more blacks than me, but you go home to a white woman. Why you don't have a black woman?
Because I fell in love with a white woman, not a black.
Why didn't you fall in love with a black woman?
I did. I fell in love with a black woman. We broke up.
Okay, and why didn't you fall in love with another black woman?
I did that too. We broke up.
Okay. And why didn't you get another one and another one and another one until you found the right one?
Because I met a white woman that I fell in love with, and that's the person.
And you're being disingenuous about something. And let me tell you what you're being disingenuous about.
And he tried to paint the narrative.
This disingenuous tag that he put on this Joe Budden podcast member, he wouldn't use on himself. Because Dr. Umar Johnson has been very disingenuous to the black community about his school. Remember the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School? That one. Yeah, that one. That he's been building for 10 to 11 years. And yet, still not finished. Remember, Frederick Douglass, later in his years, dated interracially, but he won't hold him to task with it. Maybe if he read that part of Frederick Douglass' story, he would find out about that. But nah, he still wants to throw stones at other people's houses instead of his glass house.
Once again, that Ish, I guess he hates black women, and he said to the mom, I was with a bunch of black women, just didn't work out. I found a white woman. It is what it is, and I told you guys that's how most black men feel. But we still got this narrative running out there like it's just crazy. But just ask for clarity on these types of things, right? And it's funny, I came across this on Tariq Nasheed's page. He put this graphic up here, and this is what tends to happen to black men. We got Pookie over here, who's creating all these buckaroos. We got black women on this side, and this is the athlete, musician, business owner, or anyone that survived. They ask us, what are you doing for your community? Instead of focusing attention on the majority of people who are causing the most issues. Why are you focused on the black men who are doing well for themselves when you should be trying to educate the people on how to stop having babies out of wedlock, how to make sure they take care of their resources, take care of their funds, get out of debt, stop spending crazy? Because that's the issue that's happening in the black community. It's not the people that's at the top, because they can do whatever the hell they want with their money, and I'm going to address that in a second. But stop focusing on the men who decide to get out of the hood. I've heard Dr. Umar say some outlandish things where he's saying that when black men start to do well, they move out of the hood. You think? What sense does that make? We've seen too many black men get deleted by trying to go back to the hood and trying to do great things and trying to show them this nice car and they get their head popped off. Why is it not acceptable for black men to give back from a distance? Is that not feasible? So yeah, you see this.
He's right. As a black man, a successful black man, I mean, you're a target. Especially if you move back to the community who raised you. You can't be back there. You become an immediate target. Who can be off? Nipsey Hussle, perfect example. Young Dolph, perfect example. If you didn't hear it on Talk Talk Live, you didn't see it on Talk Talk Live yourself. These are black men, Nipsey Hussle in particular, who stayed in the hood only to lose his life by doing so. And I would advocate for any black man of any modicum of success, if you can afford to get out of the hood, do so. Because you will have a target on your back. And this happened time in and time out. Support, as Media Man has said, support your community from a distance. Because if you don't, and you want to be up close with that community, guess what? You're only begging for trouble. Begging for it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to love from a distance. That's the only way to contribute and help grow the black community if you're a successful black man. You have to love from a distance. If you don't, you're too often these men are considered marks. They are considered just people waiting to be off. They're waiting to be a target of a den of thieves. And it's a shame, but it's true. It's the crab in the bucket mentality that needs to stop. But the only way it stops is if everybody chips in for a better society. But not everybody's willing to chip in, people. And for you, a black man who wants to support your community, you have to do it from a distance, especially if you're successful yourself. Let's continue and finish this up.
See stuff like this, and it just makes me question the black community. Are we really looking for answers? Are we really trying to find solutions instead of finding new ways to blame black men? And also, let me read a couple of things, because I know you guys are like, well, what are some of these athletes and rappers doing with their money? So if you're asking that question, let me go ahead and read a couple of things for you guys, right? And this is coming directly from the Economic State of America, what is and what could be. So if you guys don't know, several black athletes are using their capital and their platforms to drive change by partnering with private real estate developers and investment funds on economic development projects. Magic Johnson helped to pioneer this approach. For decades, he has invested in retail franchises and mixed-use developments in underserved inner-city neighborhoods. Just talked about that, right? Former Red...
Stop right there. Magic Johnson. The multi-millionaire former basketball star, but astute and erudite and fantastically successful businessman who married a black girl. Remember that. There's still Cookie. Never heard from Michigan. Still with him to this day. They've been married for at least 40 years. That one. That Cookie. Yes. Still pouring money back into the communities in which he's a part of and invested in. And he's been doing this for decades. But he doesn't, well, it's gone heralded, but a lot of people tend to forget. Then we move on to this.
Red Sox slugger Mo Vaughn created a company that has acquired dozens of deteriorating apartment buildings and rehab them to provide better quality and well-managed affordable housing for low-income tenants. His projects include thousands of units in the Bronx. The LeBron James Foundation has invested in schools, residents.
Mo Vaughn, former slugger with the Boston Red Sox. Shout out to my man Vladdy Zoo, who's just joined up. He's a big Red Sox fan. He knows about Mo Vaughn. Mo Vaughn has a successful property organization that helps revitalize downtrodden black communities in New York City. But nobody wants to talk about that, dude. Nobody wants to. As he was saying here,
residential developments and community amenities in his hometown of Akron, Ohio, and beyond. This is simply not about economics.
LeBron James, all about revitalization of his community and creating a set of charter schools that are thriving throughout the United States. Yes, he's an athlete, but he does give back to his community. And remember, he married a black woman. Yeah, that one. That he's been married for at least, I would say, coming on 2 decades now. But he was supposed to leave her ass for a white girl, right? Funny that.
It's about what wealth can do for people. Making it possible for black families to build greater wealth would affect every aspect of their well-being. It would improve their prospects for owning.
Let's move this a little further.
Sending their children to college without debt, starting their own business, and simply having a greater peace of mind. Now, did you guys know that Mike Epps just recently bought back his whole block in Indiana where he grew up?
A famous comedian from right here in Indianapolis is revitalizing his childhood neighborhood. Tonight, our Adam Shum shows us the impact Mike Epps is already making by buying back the block.
Yeah, the comedian Omar Epps married a black girl. He bought back the block in which he lived. He grew up in the city of Indianapolis. He is reinvesting his hard-earned funds into the black community again. And there are countless stories like this ad litem. But you don't want to hear those stories. You don't want to hear black men on race law. You don't want to hear black men are investing back in their community. You don't want to hear that. You want to hear Umar Johnson, though. He's the answer. He's the one telling us all that black men are the ones who are being disloyal and not investing in their own communities, taking the money all for themselves, when actually the contrary is happening. I'll just finish out with Omar Epps' story, and then we'll
At
finish
21st
up.
Street and Carrollton Avenue in Indy's Kennedy King neighborhood, you'll find people who are proud of their community. And they say a lot of that redevelopment along the block is in part due to this guy.
My wife told me not to do nothing right here.
That's Indianapolis's Mike Epps, the comedian and actor is working to buy his block back. It comes from his new HGTV show, Buying Back the Block. And Epps has been revitalizing homes in his neighborhood he grew up in for more than a year.
I've seen this neighborhood go through a couple of different changes from, the time I was born to 53.
And his new show is centered around these homes, to present day, looking like this. But Epps will tell you there's still work to do on the neighborhood he calls home.
Everything that I do, I'm trying to inspire, the next generation coming in, just give them information and inform them and let them know.
Letting them know that you too can get back to where you came from and make it a better place.
But I guarantee you one thing, he's done it from a distance. He's not going back to the hood. He's not even near living in the hood. Because he knows that he would be a known target. But he is loving from a distance. He has bought back his block. I wonder how many black women have done that. They'll have babies, though. With who, I don't know, but they'll have babies. That's why I say, all this vitriol, all this rhetoric, all this hate against black men is unwarranted. It's unfounded. Because time in and time out, black men are marrying their women from their race and reinvesting back into the community and leading families and being great fathers and being tax-paying citizens and not being down low and but yet we'll still be people still be taking pot shots just to make themselves famous, including Dr. Umar Johnson, including Rebecca Lynn Pope, including and so on and so on and so on, until people finally get the message that all these stereotypes against black men aren't true and are unwarranted. And that we make great fathers and great husbands. Go figure that. I'll just finish up the story here.
It's all about community. It's all about land. It's all about building legacy for your family and your neighborhood.
He just bought his.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much, the Media Man, for bringing this to my attention. Let me bring it back to my camera here. So what did we learn tonight, people? What did we learn? What did we learn? Go back to full cam. What we learned is this. Black men aren't your enemies, black women. They're not. They're your last hope. They are. Black men tend to be very race loyal. If you're looking for non-race loyal individuals, look to your Hispanic and Asian brethren. Not us. Not us. 85% of black men still marry black women to this day. Black men are still married at a 33% clip. Black women, 27%. And that's a choice. Black men are still graduating at a higher rate. Black men are still out earning. Black men are still reinvesting their monies, dead or alive, in their community. We're trying to make it a better place. We've learned from our grievances and errors, as small as they may be, because they're not big, they're small, people. Now, soon to be infinitesimally small. So I ask you, black women, could we just stop? Can we put all this to rest? But nah. We got to be still made the villain. We got to still be made the scapegoat. We still have to bear the cross of our success, of our popularity, of the love of many a woman out there. But we're still here for you. I'm still here for you. My father was still here for you. He may be divorced, but he's still married. He still met up with a black woman. as shameless as she may be. That's a whole other story. But we're here for you. We've always been. I've always been. Most black men have always been. Just leaving it. We've always been here for you. We've always tried to build families with you. We're always trying to make a go of it with you. We always try to stay out of jail. We've always tried to be the best fathers and husbands possible. So all these rumors and lies about black men need to stop. They just need to stop, guys. They really do. Because if they don't, just saying. But we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. I'm going to end on a good note here. I don't want to cause any more controversy. Black women, we're here for you. We are our last hope. I've always said that. You are the least married women on the planet by choice. And if you don't choose us, as painful as it may seem, we may have to move on ourselves. So I ask you, black women, to please think of your words, think of your actions. You've seen what's been put out here, displayed for you tonight here on Talk Talk Live. The statistics don't lie. We're very race loyal people to not only our women, but to our community. As seen by Omar Epps, as seen by Magic Johnson, as seen by LeBron James, as seen by Denzel Washington. And so on, and so on, and so on, of black men who indeed only want the betterment of their people and of their women. Because we're still here for you, black women. We're still very much here. And it is hoped that you can get the hate out your heart and realize that there's a black man waiting for you as long as you wish it to happen. But there are others on the horizon who will as well. And they may not share your skin tone, so beware. Of whom you throw your glass, your stones. Because those same stones may be your bones. An oldie but a goodie saying, but still nonetheless, we're still here for you, black women. We really are. And the sooner you realize that, the better. For not only you, but your future children and families as well. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We're going to get out of here. I need to eat. I haven't eaten all day. I've pretty much been fasting and I've been drinking water, and I need to eat something, so I'm going to go upstairs and get something to eat. But I thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We'll see if we can get a show in tomorrow night, on Friday nights, because I really want to just ratchet things up. And then in February, we're just going to have to take it down just a peg for the first half of the month, maybe doing a show, maybe a week. Because, again, there's some obligations on my time that need to be tended to, so I do hope and bear with me for your patience here. But, again, we're sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. 2024 line out now on Talk Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. I'm going to get out of here and get something to eat. And I hope if you don't see you tomorrow, that you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. But we're going to slowly pare it down as we move forward because, again, there's certain obligations on my time that I need to tend to. And I just hope that you and yours enjoy your weekend, and we'll speak to you soon on Talk Talk Live. Oh, yeah, it's Inside the NBA tonight, so I'm going to have a look at that and get something to eat. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We'll see you soon, and good night from Toronto. Thank you very much for joining me tonight on Talk Talk Live on YouTube. This will be uploaded straight away, but yeah, very, very good show showing that indeed black men are here for the black community, and we really do hope that we can mend fences and build bridges rather than burning them. And